Hi guys, today I said I'd do a quick tutorial on how to create a Cinemagraph using Adobe Premiere Pro and Photoshop. If you don't have Premiere, that's completely fine. I only use that to color grade the clips, but if you're not fussed on color grading, then you can just go ahead and use Photoshop straight away. I put my first Cinemagraph on my social media channels last week and I got such a good response to it. I got so many people commenting and messaging me just asking how I did it and could they see the behind the scenes on it. So I just said I'd make a short video just showing exactly how to do it. So this is the clip I used to make the Cinemagraph. So for this, I just popped my camera on a tripod. I just framed it how I liked, I exposed it how I liked, and we actually shot this directly in front of a window. So it kind of brightened up the subject that bit while leaving the shadows surrounding him quite dark. So it kind of made it look like a natural vignette. We were supposed to film this as he tipped it as slow as he could, but just because the V60 didn't have a handle, it was actually quite difficult. We just wanted it slow so that the stream of coffee could be as still as it could, but it's okay, we can get around that. So after that, I just created a new Premiere profile and I popped that clip straight in. By just putting the clip in like that, Premiere will automatically set its sequence settings to match the clip that you're importing. So for my color grading, I'm just going to go up to the color tab and just select whatever I want. So yeah, I'm just going to turn up the warm a little bit and exposure. It's a bit dark. Pop up a bit more. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll pop the highlights just a small bit there, just make it pop a bit. Turn down the blacks, down the shadows, just kind of punch them through. Pop up the saturation to whatever you want. Don't get a bit much. Yeah, we'll put that down to there. I'll just turn down the warmth a bit as well, I think. Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah, so I think that's fine for what we actually wanted for now. So if you can just pop back to editing, go to file, down to export to media, and yeah, you can just export your clip from there. Yeah, you can check all the settings there, make sure they're what you want. Click here, put in whatever name you want. I'm just going to change this bit to color, just so I know after that this is the color graded clip. And check all that. Yeah, that's fine. It's MP4 and export. Perfect. So once your clip is exported, just Command S to save that project and you can close it. So now we're going to open a Photoshop project. And from here, we're just going to pop back open the window and you can drag in that color graded clip. Just click the tick to keep it in place. Create the video timeline. I didn't really know that Photoshop could actually manipulate video and do that kind of stuff, but it can. So yeah, it's super handy for this. So yeah, just click create video timeline and it's already there. You can see this just popped up. Just zoom in a bit so that I can fill the screen, hide the layers for now. And yeah, you can just drag the playhead along and you can see that the entire video has actually been pulled in. So that's great. Sorry, my laptop's just a little bit laggy. So for this, you just want to find a good in and out point that you can have for your Cinemagraph. You're looking for the point which has the least movement and you're focusing on that actual stream of copy because that's going to be the only bit that's actually going to be moving. So yeah, I'm just trying to see here, which is probably the best bit. So yeah, you can see here it's probably steady. So yeah, I think I'm going to grab and push that back. That'll be our starting frame. Now I just need to find my out point. Quite a bit of movement there, so just pull it back a bit. You see he starts to tip the V60 back down, so we just want to get it before then. I think around here. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to bring that back there. So that's the clip. It's quite short, but that's okay. So I'm just going to bring that back to the beginning. Zoom in a bit so I can see what I'm actually doing. And then you can just use the playhead to scrub through. There's a weird white bit there at the end, so I'm just going to trim that off. Perfect. So you're going to go to this cog here. We want it to loop because it's going to be a GIF, so make sure that loop playback is ticked. The resolution of 50% is fine, you can just leave that how it is. You just want to make sure that loop playback is ticked. So yeah, you can play that through. You can see there's a very obvious jump from where it ends to where it starts again, and that's just simply because the starting frame is different from the last frame. So we want to make that they're actually the same frame so that loop just flows. So how you do that is you start by duplicating the layer. So go into your layers panel, grab your layer and drag it down to that new layer that has just duplicated your layer for you. And if you play that now, you can just see that they're the exact same. Now, so we want this first frame to be the last frame here so that it loops. So the way you do that is you're going to drag this second layer all the way to the end so that now this first frame is the same as the last frame. Sounds a bit odd, but bear with me. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab that second layer and just drag it back a bit, just so you can get that bit of movement. You can see in the preview there just where there isn't too much movement. Drag it back to there, then trim it up so that it's the same length. You can scrub the playhead along now to where those two layers meet. Click the arrow to drop down the menu on the first layer, and where it says opacity, you can just click the stopwatch and it'll bring up a keyframe. Scrub that playhead along a bit more, click the diamond, you've made another keyframe. Then go to opacity and drag that all the way down to 0. Then go back to your keyframe and just drag that all the way to the end of your layer. So essentially what we're doing here is we have the top layer which starts at one frame and ends in a completely different one, and we want it to gradually fade into the layer below that ends on the same frame as the start. I hope that makes sense. So here I'm just scrubbing through. I'm looking at that fade just to see how obvious that fade is on the stream of coffee. The rest of it doesn't matter too much because, as I said at the start, it's only going to be the stream of coffee that's moving. So I just want to align that bottom layer and the fade. So you can move those keyframes around as you like, but I just want to align them so that the stream of coffee will match up as close as it can on both of the layers. You can do that by hiding and unhiding the top layer just so you can see the shape of the coffee flow. You just want them to be the same shape as they transition into each other. So it might just take a while, just scrubbing back and forth. Now this step can be completely avoided if when you're shooting it, that what you're shooting is still, or there's very, very little movement. It's just the way that this was poured, because it was too fast. The flow of coffee was moving, so there's a lot more movement than there should be. So after your frames are blended together like that and you're happy with the flow of how it will look, we now need to create a flat layer on the top, so a still image, which is going to be how the rest of the image will look other than your moving piece. If there's more movement in your original clip than there should be, then you're going to have to scrub your playhead through to find the frame which will be best for this. So you can see here that the mug is moving up and down a bit, so you're not going to want that to get in the way when you mask it out, because that's what we're going to do. This is going to become a mask layer. So find whichever frame you think will work the best, and then you can create your still layer by clicking Command, Option, Shift and E. Or if you're on a Windows, it's Control, Option, Shift and E. So we'll just drag that back to the beginning of the timeline, just zoom out a bit, grab the end of it, and we can shorten that up to match the rest of our clips. So now if you play that through, you can see it just doesn't move. It's just a still image. Now, so make sure that still layer is selected, go to your layers panel and click add layer mask at the bottom there, and you'll see that a white square has jumped up on layer 1. So that's your layer mask. So when you're masking, you have two colors. There's black and there's white. You'll see it down the bottom left hand side there. You want to make sure that your color is black because that's masking out, whereas white is just re-adding the content back in. So you want to go up to brush or click B as a shortcut. You want to zoom in and then just start masking out where your movement would be. Using the square brackets for this is very handy as a shortcut because you can make the brush bigger or smaller by doing this. Okay, you can see there that there's a bit of his shirt is just jumping. I think we've masked out a bit too far. I'm going to move the brush hardness down just so it blends a bit better. Zoom in again. I just want to blend around there just to kind of make it a bit more even. I'm still probably doing it a bit too much. Yeah, you can see now his shirt is also rippling a bit, which we don't want. So I've just swapped my brush there to white, which will fill back in the layer mask again. Actually, if you click backslash, that will show you exactly what you're masking, just another shortcut. So just make sure you paint all that back in exactly what you don't want. So I don't think we need any of this masked. Just to keep as much of the still image as we can. So yeah, all this can go. And I think a bit on the left side as well can go. Yeah, we don't need any of that mask. No, that's perfect. That just gives us our shape there that the actual drink is moving in. So it's still not 100% perfect, but it's close enough. When you zoom out, you can't really tell. That looks good enough to me. And there you have it. So now we just need to save it. So we want to save it for web. So you click Command, Option, Shift and S, which is to save for web, or again, Control if you're on Windows. And this will pop up. So you want to check up here that it's definitely a GIF from the list. And then if you pop down to the bottom for looping options, just make sure that that's set to forever instead of once. And click Save. Select where you want to save it. And I'm just going to call this Cinemagraph GIF. Yeah, and save. And that's it. So we can minimize Photoshop. And then we'll just preview it. And there you have it. There's your GIF. So the likes of Instagram won't actually upload a GIF, it will just upload it as a still image. So what I did to get it to upload to Instagram was I actually then popped that GIF back into Premiere and I just saved it. I just dragged it out to be like 15 seconds long and I actually saved that as just .mp4, so it was actually a video file. It looks the exact same, it's just it won't loop forever, it'll just be for its set seconds. But yeah, that's how you make a cinemagraph.